plants. Plants are pretty cool. I like plants. But anyway, looks like I can start my presentation now. Oh, I can take off my mask. I forgot about that. Whoo! Okay. So I worked at Long Table Farm in Durango. It's me and my really good friend Kaylee Reginini, who is unfortunately not here. She is touring colleges in Washington State. So cool, so jealous. But whew, I'm nervous. Whew. This is chill, low key. So I did my mentorship with Kate and Morgan, who are located in Durango, Colorado, and this is their 4th season at Long Table Farms. It's a lovely little organic farm, and they started off in an incubator program at the Old Fort, which is part of Fort Lewis. So the thing about farming is it's a very kind of weekly sort of schedule where it's like Mondays you do this, Tuesdays, and then so on and so forth. So on Mondays, it was a lot of harvesting for our CSA, which is a program that helps us get organic vegetables out to people without them having to come to farmers markets. So, very good. So we did a lot of harvesting for that on Mondays and Tuesdays and did a lot of packaging and cleaning, which is a huge part of what goes into the agricultural industry. Wednesdays, we had the day off because on our first week there, Kaylee and I spent the whole week and almost died. I kind of almost got heat stroke one day. It was too much. So we had Wednesdays off for the rest of our internship. Thursdays was a little bit more work, a lot of weeding, which isn't as fun as it sounds actually. Pulling as many like plants as you can see out of the ground at one time, it's wonderful. But then after that, we do more like processing and harvesting vegetables for the farmers markets, which happen on Sundays, which is one of our days off, including Saturday. All right, some of the labor that goes into farming, I already talked about it, but weeds, but in organic farming, weeds are a huge part of farming because you don't use herbicides or GMOs, which have been proven to be very bad for human and ecological health. So we don't like that as humans. So yeah, but some methods that you can do is like proactive weeding and proactive seeding, where like you're looking for the itty bitty weeds in the beds and like using different methods of seeding the beds so you don't get as many weeds. Pests. This isn't a pest, this is Bo. She was the dog on the farm. She was rowdy. I had to kill a lot of voles because she would take them out of the ground, decide to like paralyze them, and then just leave them. So kind of a pest. But pests can kill like vegetables and make them unmarketable, so they're like not good for business, especially in small farms. But same thing with weeding. Like organic farms don't use pesticides or GMOs, which are not good for human or ecological health. Ooh, didn't see that coming. But yeah, we use other sort of like plants and different like species of other insects to stop these pests, like ladybugs and spiders. Like we all know ladybugs; they love eating those aphids. So yeah. Here's some sciencey plants, because this is a science program after all. So I thought I'd add, because both Morgan and Kate are super, super knowledgeable about plants and plant science, and they like taught us so much stuff. So anyways, these are called southern peas. They're called a cover crop. So basically in like winter seasons, you'll go plant them through, and as the snow melts into spring, they grow up in place of weeds. They're easier to pull out, and they're nitrogen fixers. So cool. They have this amazing symbiotic relationship with nitrogen fixing bacteria, where they can actually take nitrogen out of the air, give it to the bacteria, they put it into the soil, and the plant gets to grow. And it makes the soil so healthy for the rest of the crops of the year. Next up, tomato and basil. Who loves tomato and basil? That's right. It's so tasty together. But also, there's this incredible symbiotic relationship where the basil actually attracts so many pollinators for the tomatoes, and it deters hornworms, which are those little things that get into your tomatoes and give them holes, and you're just like, I'm not touching that tomato. And also, the tomato provides like a really good environment for the basil to grow, yeah. Sunflowers. They provide shade, they act as good markers, they're huge plants, so they have massive root structures which bind all the soil together, making it super good for water, for retaining water, I should say, and also for just like aesthetic. Love sunflowers, they're so cool. Look at that sunflower. Next. So some of the tools that we would use for farming, there's the broad fork. The photos got mixed up, which is pretty cool. The tilling machine, which is actually Morgan sticking her head inside of it. That's the part that goes really fast and like breaks up the soil. And then a direct seeder. So broad fork, it's like a pitchfork but bigger. You stick it in the ground and just lean back as far as you can in it, and it roots up the soil. It was really fun. One time I knocked the wind out of myself because I went too hard pulling it back, straight on the ground. The tilling machine does a similar job of the broad fork, but it does it faster, but it uses fossil fuels, and we don't like fossil fuels. The direct seeder just puts seeds right into the ground. It uses this wheel mechanism to dig a little hole and then plant pew, 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 seeds inside. So it's really nice. Here's some photos. I thought you guys would enjoy that. That was a little toad I found on the farm. I don't know if you can tell. And then those crazy vegetables are called kohlrabi, and you're just it's like broccoli, but not, if that makes sense. It's like a huge thing of a stem of broccoli. Yeah. Kaylee and I had so much fun. That's when I got the gnarliest sunburn of my life, though. Oh my God. Okay. Anyway, for fun, Kaylee and I had a lot of fun in Durango. It's like we know a couple people there. So we knew all these crazy places. We went down to some natural hot springs, the river, so many times. We found this crazy spot up in the mountains, which is so beautiful. And then I made some tasty food. It's like an arugula salad with some tomatoes, mozzarella, and then some pasta and sauce, and some mushrooms that I found foraging there. The importance of local organic farms. No, it's a small thing. It's super important to communities because it provides a lot of work opportunity and it lowers your carbon footprint. So at the same time, you're employing people who may not have the opportunity to work at higher paying jobs or jobs that require more education, and you lower your carbon footprint, making the earth a better place. So yeah. Advice for future Pinterns. Kaylee added the slide. No one else is probably going to have it, so be a sponge. Take advantage of your time off. Drink as much water as possible to avoid my heat stroke. Be gratuitous. Be generous whenever possible, and don't take your experience for granted, because it's so easy to be like, God, this sucks. I wish I was at home in my bed. I could just watch TikTok all day. And it's like, I worked on a farm for 4 weeks. Who else can say that? It's so incredible. And then also my thank yous. Thank you to Sarah Holbrick and Nana Nisbet for working so hard to provide these wonderful experiences for all the Pinterns. Thank you to the board of directors at Pinhead. Thank you to all the donors who helped fund our educational endeavors. And thank you to Kate, who is nicknamed Vlad because she was pale all the time and looked like a vampire. I don't know, weird story. And Morgan, Josh, because she looks like a Josh, for opening up your wonderful farm to us. We miss it every day.